So while filming my Duke Nukem 3D video, I had to film some footage playing Duke Nukem 1. I haven't played Duke Nukem 1 in years, probably 20 years maybe. And man, I have to say, this game brought back some memories. I forgot just how fun it was. Now honestly, I probably think it's fun because I grew up playing this game. I spent a lot of time playing this game as a kid. And if you've never played a game like this, you might be looking at the footage thinking, well, what the hell's so great about this game? Now, Duke Nukem came out for MS-DOS in 1991. Now, by 1991, there were a lot of platformers available for DOS, but Duke Nukem was special. Just like its successor, Duke Nukem 3D, Duke Nukem 1 was very interactive. There was a lot of things that you could do in your environment, things that just happened, that were unlike any other game at the time. There were really simple things like the faces on the telescreen moved to watch you, the cameras in the ceilings also moved and watched you. You can shoot power-ups to actually change them, like if you shot a pop can, it would go flying up in the air and you could catch it while it was airborne for more points. There are also chicken drumsticks that you could shoot and turn them into full chickens. It was kind of weird. But there's a lot of stuff like that, and that's really what made the game so unique. There's a lot of interesting power-ups too, like you could get a pair of shoes that made it so Duke could jump higher and farther and do backflips and all sorts of weird stuff. There's also a power-up that was kind of like this claw thing where you could jump up and grab hold of things, and it allows Duke to climb around and get to places that he normally couldn't. Now today in games, a lot of these things are standard. They could even be considered gimmicky. But at the time, they were really cool, and it was one of the things that made Duke Nukem stand out. Now, Duke Nukem, the character, at this point, wasn't really anything special. He didn't really develop his really sarcastic, silly personality until Duke Nukem 2. I mean, there was some of it, but it wasn't anything like Duke Nukem 3D. You could see from the title screen that he looks very sunburned, and he's wearing a purple vest with a white shirt. His gun looks like some sort of shotgun, and his face, well, he kind of looks like his nose is broken or something. And of course, in-game, he looks very similar. He still looks sunburned, and you can see his purple vest. He's got blue pants, but his gun looks nothing like it did in the title. It looks like some sort of pipe with a coil on it. Now, I remember thinking as a kid, whatever projectiles he was shooting out, whether it was lasers or bullets or something, it always looked like toothpaste to me. I'm not really sure what they were going for here. It just looks silly. Now, another really cool thing about Duke Nukem was the level design. Now, I had played Commander Keen prior to this, and there were some other platformers, but Duke Nukem's level design really stood out to me. There's this particular level where I guess it's some sort of mercury mining facility or something like that. You can see Duke's reflection on the ground. That was incredibly cool for the time. And I always thought the backgrounds were really well done. Later in the game, each level makes it seem like you're getting closer and closer to whatever city that is in the background. It kind of looks like you're in a cave or something. I'm not really sure what the hell's going on, but I always liked it. So now let's talk about the sound effects. The sound effects are, I suppose what you would expect for a game made in '91. I don't know, to me they've always felt very uninspired. Every time Duke makes a step, it's this big thump, 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 and I always thought it was kind of silly. His gun sound is okay, I suppose, but I think really the best sounds is when you pick up power-ups. Especially when you shoot the soda cans. It kind of sounds like a soda's tipped over or something. I always like that. There are other sounds, like when you ride the elevator, just this boom, 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 and you can't hear anything. There's no other sound happening. That's kind of dumb. And that's really all I can say about the sounds. There's really not very many sounds in the game, so. Now let's talk about the enemies. Well, they're lame. That's really all there is to say about that. There are a couple of them that are interesting and kind of cool, but by and large, you see pretty much all of them in the first 3, maybe 4 levels. You've got these weird little alien things that kind of grip to the side of walls, I guess. They die in one hit. Then you have these little Robbie the Robot things that just kind of move back and forth. They also die in one hit. You have these weird floating robots that fire projectiles at you. They also die in one hit. And yeah, I think you get the picture. Everything dies in one hit. Now granted, there are some other enemies like these weird little bladed things that are on wheels. They take a couple hits and they actually start smoking before they die. That's kind of cool. And there's some weird ones like these helicopters that come flying down, and the scale is all wrong. It looks like they're either tiny or Duke is huge, and they take a number of hits to take out. Now the game is pretty short, so I just went ahead and beat it for this video. And the last guy, I can't even, Dr. Proton, I think? Oh my god, this is the worst boss battle that I have ever seen. It took me 30 seconds to kill this guy. Seriously, I stand right here on this pillar, and I jump and shoot. Seriously, that is it. This is the worst boss battle I've ever played. But, I mean, hey, it's a DOS platformer. They didn't have a lot to work with at the time. And, you know, it was fun. It took me about 30, 45 minutes to beat it, so it's a pretty short game. Now, if you've never played any of the Duke Nukems prior to Duke Nukem 3D, I don't know if you really want to go find the ROM and get DOSBox and play them. I mean, They're fun to me because I grew up playing these, but if you've never played them or you've never experienced them and you don't really care, you're not really missing out on a whole lot.